Okay, Gutterballs. I was a bit apprehensive because I saw Hanger first, and I wasn't really impressed with Hanger. Most people kind of said Gutterballs is essentially this director's like best work, period. And you know, the plot is fairly simple, and it's done in a very low budget sort of way of doing it. It is two rival groups of teenagers who bowl. They're going to have a part of their league night. They get into a fight because apparently one of the guys used to date one of the other's girlfriends, and of course she shows up in a mini skirt and she's commando. I should tell you right now, this is the epitome of what an unrated horror movie would be like. They get into a fight, and one of the guys hangs like his foot fairly well mangled. Everyone leaves, guy tosses everybody out. Girl goes back, after my purse. And of course, since, she kind of yelled at one of the guys, the dialogue in this is ridiculously over the top. That's one of my big flaw with this is everything is F this, F that, you stupid B, just everything. It's just profanity laden. If you were to watch this on like a regular network channel, it'd just be beep, because they'd have to bleep almost every single thing, or it would make absolutely no sense at all. So of course, she goes back to try to find her purse. And of course, since she kind of teased them earlier, she then of course gets gang raped. A benefit to watch this on DVD is if you don't want to see the gang rape, you can just skip over it, because it's its own individual track. Ironically, that also means if you want to watch that, you can skip the whole movie and just watch that one sequence. While doing some background for this, it's the one thing you pretty much find everywhere, is this sequence. Really nothing else, just this sequence. And it's done, again, in a fairly over-the-top. It's hard that this is actually designed to be kind of like a parody, an over-the-top homage. It does have kind of like a Lloyd Kaufman feel to it every now and then when it comes to the way this movie is done. So, of course, I flash forward to the next night, where they're going to have their league match after the bowling alley is closed. And then notice there's a third person. There's the two teams then BBK. And occasionally that person is getting what looks like skulls and crossbones. Yes, that's because the killer, who is wearing a bowling shirt and a bowling bag for a mask, is killing people using bowling pins and other sorts of bizarre ways of killing people. This movie, of course, being unrated, does actually have pretty much full nudity. As well as opposed to hinting at the engaging of sex, they do have very brief scenes. And I say brief, I mean maybe like 30 seconds. To a little bit longer. And the kills are done in a very over-the-top, fairly schlock fashion. While Hanger was very dull and gritty, this one still has kind of a gritty feel to it. But the fact that it's done inside a bowling alley that does like cosmic bowling, and it's set like in the kind of the 70s, but they have games that were actually made in the 80s. So it's low budget that doesn't take itself seriously. Now, in the term of some like rape revenge movies, is it like an I Spit on Your Grave? No. I Spit on Your Grave and the remake are a whole different genre unto themselves compared to this one. Gutterballs takes it and does it entirely low budget. This is entirely a low budget movie. It doesn't make any qualms about being low budget. It's shot essentially in a parking lot and inside the bowling alley. So that's pretty much every single thing you're going to see is either inside the bowling alley, using either the lanes, the cosmic lanes, the bathroom, or the parking lot. So if you want to see I hate to say more lighthearted rape revenge film, but if you want to see one that's not as serious, that's going to be a bit somewhat tongue-in-cheek, and some kills you may kind of go, wow, I can't believe they choked the pre-op tranny with a bowling pin. So it's got moments kind of like that. By all means, Gutterballs is probably right up your alley.